Hello, YouTube. Okay, so I wanted to come on really quickly and share with you how I use my templates to fussy cut out patterns. So I'm working on a custom order H2O bag, and I have the templates from Tops and Bobbins, also known as that template shop. I'll leave a link to this below, as well as the pattern, so that you can get this pattern if you're interested in purchasing the pattern. You need to purchase the pattern before you can purchase the templates. Okay, so what I like to do, since this says it's on the fold, I like to place this. I'm gonna make sure it's in the camera shot. I like to put this piece as close as I can to the side without getting into the selvage. Then I take this front piece and I put it on. So it's kind of running off a little bit, so it kind of fits like a puzzle piece. So I'm going to move it forward. Okay, so I like to do that so that I can place my pieces in different places. So down here, I really like to utilize as much space as possible because I trace this out first, block fuse my interfacing, and then cut it out. So that's why I like to do this. I'm kind of like pretty much um, just looking for places to put things right now. So right here, it says to cut on the fold. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one right there. So I know that this is double the length of this. So I'm going to be flipping it over in just a second. And then here, this piece here, so I can really utilize this space here, I'm going to put the back card slot. And then on the back card slot, you need two pieces, one for the right and one for the left. So for me to actually make it so that it actually looks like it's seamless behind the card slots, what I do is I place this somewhat in the middle. Okay, if I want to put like the word Grinch or something towards the top or something like that, I could do that. But I think I'm going to move this right there because I think I want more of the face. Let me see. Yeah, I think I want more of a space. And then I'm going to bring this down. And so then that way, when I flip this over here, this fits over here. So I just want to make sure that fits there. Perfect. And that fits there. Okay, so before I trace anything out, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to go ahead and take this over on this side. So what I'm going to do, where it says on the fold, I do not, I don't trace it all the way down. I just trace it just a little tiny notch right there so that I can see. I'm not sure if you guys can see that on camera. So let me get a Sharpie really fast so you guys can see it. Any type of marker would really work with this. Let me just grab a fabric marker so you guys can see it a little bit better on screen. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, and then I just shift the template pieces. So these template pieces are also used that you could just take a rotary cutter and just cut it all out. But when I block fuse, it's better for me to do it like this than it is for me to use it as a, no, nothing tells me I can't use the pattern pieces for me to go back in and sorry, obviously I can't do two things at once. That I can't go back in and use the pattern pieces after I've block fused my interfacing so that I can. Okay, so I'm not moving this piece. I'm going to move this piece right next to it, again locking it into the same spot. Okay, there we go. Make sure this line is continuous so that it's straight and it's not skewed at a different angle. Okay, so now that I've gotten those there, so now I'm going to do this piece here because this one has to fold over as well. So let me go ahead. Those are the pieces that I've used. So what I like to do to stay organized is I have this plastic container, and when I'm done using the pattern pieces, I put it in the container and set it aside. That way I'm not confused as to what I'm doing, because I'm very easily confused. Put that up right there. The H2O bag is one of my top sellers on my Etsy shop. And then now my website, my personal website, garnersewingroom.com, we've pretty much transferred a lot of our listings over to my website so that I can start utilizing my website more efficiently than going through Etsy. So this one here are the zipper tabs. I better put that aside for just a second because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to really make sure to see if I can get that right there. Will I be able to use this over here? Just shy. Nope. I can adjust my seam allowance, but I don't want to do that. So let's do it down here. And that's the great thing about using the templates, is to kind of preview what you're doing. So I'm putting it right down there. I think that's going to be the best spot so I can really do the left and right. And I love that this print is not directional. I really can utilize I can really utilize the entire print, a lot more fabric when it's non-directional than I can if it was directional. So we did one of those. And you have to refer to the pattern to know which pieces you need out of what type of fabric. But these are all the exterior and cotton pieces that I choose to use. Did you finish, sweetheart?
Yes, I did finish with grammar. Yes.
Okay.
I'm on math right now, but did you print out that thing yesterday?
I'm sorry, what thing?
The math thing? That I should give the numbers?
No, Daddy told me not to. Because you have them in your notebook. You have them in your book, so in your workbook. Okay, so those are all the pieces I need. I got one piece left that's not in my box, so I know that this is the piece that I have left, and that's the zipper tabs. So with the zipper tabs, I can really just kind of go in here and say, okay, where is dead space that I can use? I'm probably going to do it right here. Let me see. Nope. I can't get two of them side by side, but that's okay because I can get one there and one there. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And now what I do is okay, sweetheart. All right, sweetheart. We homeschool. So Dwight Jr. is doing his schoolwork at the moment. So what I like to do now is not quite cut all of it out, but kind of get some block cut out of it just to get some room to go around so that it's a smaller piece when I take it over to the heat press to put on my interfacing. Okay. I just like to use my ruler to really just make sure I got some good cuts. And then, so this is left over. This was a half a yard cut. So this is what's left over for me to use on another bag. I have a craft show coming up, like my very first one that I've been to in like 2.5, 3 years because of COVID, we had to, we stopped doing the craft show. So I'm doing a really big one, actually. My very first one's a really big one. So I'm going to take this over to the iron and fuse on my interfacing. So here's my interfacing. This is Sofuse Plus, if I'm not mistaken, from Pixie, something Pixie. So what I like to do now is just to kind of like see through. I could still see my marks. It gets a little bit more translucent also when I do the heat press. Okay, so see how that's gonna fuse that section right there? It's like block fusing. That's what I love about this method. You could really just use it some scraps or whatever you have. There we go, that's good. So for this little piece right here, because I don't want to go back and forth, I'm just gonna cut. All right, so I'm gonna take this over to the heat press and show you how I fuse it. Right, so give me a second because I have to go around and grab the camera, the tripod. And we'll move right on over. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna grab the tripod. Hello. Okay, and then we're gonna go right over here and I will show you my heat press and all that stuff. Let me put this on the table so that hopefully I can turn it around for you guys. Let's see here. Where's the button? There it is. There we go. Is my heat press in the frame? It is. Perfect. All right. Don't mind my junkiness. I've got so much stuff going on. Okay. So what I like to do is have Teflon paper down at the bottom as well as on the top, just in case I have any of the interfacing that's not quite on the fabric. If it's a little bit over, it doesn't get sticky on my heat press, the bottom of my heat press. This heat press has been heating up for about 20 minutes now. You want to make sure your heat press is nice and hot. Temperature wise, I have no idea. I pretty much just set it and keep moving. All right, so it says it's about 320 Fahrenheit. Okay, press it. Depending on your fabric, you can press it for 10, 20 seconds. Or if you're doing vinyl, you want to put up the heat just a little bit more and do small intervals of it if you're doing it on a vinyl. But this is more for a quilt cotton. And see how that's a lot more manageable than if I would have had that big piece of fabric and a big piece of interfacing. It just makes it a lot easier to use. So yeah. Today's like a slouchy kind of day. My daughter and I are both in hoodies and everything. Well, earlier I was in a hoodie. Now I'm just having hot flashes. So I'm like, woo! Okay. That piece right there. As you can see, it's not like I don't have a timer on or anything. I just work. Have you guys made any H2O bags yet? I've made at least, I don't want to overestimate, but I'm going to say close to 100 of these. I'm just saying, I've made a lot of these. It's a very well thought out pattern and design. Hey, Jonathan. Good. Are you switching out machines today? Oh, okay. You can move that bag if you need to. Okay. So you can tell it gets stuck on when you can see through it a little bit better. It becomes a little bit more translucent. Okay. If your fabric, your cotton is not already pressed or it's not flat, you want to do that before you put the interfacing on, because once it has a wrinkle in it, it's really hard to get it out. You can you can like heat it back up and then peel the two layers away from each other, but there's still going to be a sticky residue on the fabric. And sometimes the interfacing doesn't fuse as well when you try to refuse it on. So just better practice to have it when the fabric doesn't have any wrinkles. All right, so let's get this on. Looks really good. All right, just swing that out the way so I can see what I'm doing. The guy next door is getting a delivery, so he's got his little cart out, his little dolly thing. Forklift, that's what it's called. It's a forklift. Okay, so it looks really good infused. Love it. All right, we're almost done. This is one of 3 bags that I'm making today. I got the fabrics in last night, so I was able to just like, okay, good, I can get these done. All right, so it's nice infused. See that? Okay, awesome. All right, so that's it. I showed you how you can block fuse your interfacing onto your cotton fabric. I suggest doing that because one of 2 reasons. One, it's all done at once, so you don't have to worry about that. 2, you're not cutting out 2 different pieces. You're not cutting out interfacing and the fabric and then fusing them together. Sometimes cottons have a tendency of shrinking a little bit, especially if you're using an iron, because of the steam and the heat to it. So because of that shrinkage, you may not get accurate pieces and you may get a little frustrated with that. So I block fuse before I cut it out. That way, if any shrinkage happened, it's taken care of pretty much. So I don't have to worry about thinking about that later on. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I'll be sure to let you guys know when my next tutorial is. Thanks. Bye.